world banking center, a world educational center, or especially a world capital. The greatest historian of modern times, Arnold Toynbee, used to stress to all his readers and hearers that Babylon would be the best place in the world to build a future world cultural metropolis. This is 22 years ago. 2 years ago, the Herald Tribune had this headline: UNESCO intends to put the magic back in Babylon. Let me just read you a few excerpts from this article. In this ancient city, it is hard to tell what are ruins and what is just ruined. Crumbling mud brick buildings, some 2,500 years old, look like smashed sandcastles at the beach. Babylon, the city with the $1 million name, has paid the price of war. It has been ransacked, looted, torn up, paved over, neglected, and roughly occupied. But Iraqi leaders and UN officials, interesting, are not giving up on it. They are working assiduously to restore Babylon, home to the Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. They want to turn it into a cultural center and possibly even an Iraqi theme park. The UN, I'm not going there. I'll prefer Disneyland. Thank you very much. The UN Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization is pumping millions of dollars into Babylon. It has even printed a snazzy brochure to give to wealthy donors. Cultural tourism could become Iraq's second biggest industry after oil, explained Philip DeLange, a United Nations official helping with the project. One day, millions of people will visit Babylon, one said. I'm just not sure anybody knows when. That's because nobody knows the day or the hour. It's interesting to me. A number of years ago, when I first began a personal study of Babylon and its place in Bible prophecy, thought to myself that it's very likely that there will come a day when the United Nations will move its headquarters from New York, where it currently is, to Babylon. I was just thinking of just this last week. There was, of course, a meeting of the UN in New York, and we had one Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the president of Iran, who wants to wipe Israel off the map and wants to destroy the United States of America. Thank you very much. Not our friend. However, interesting that the meeting where after he spoke at the UN, which don't ask me why he's still allowed to step foot on American soil. This is a modern day Hitler. And I believe with all my heart that he is possessed by Satan himself with the same demonic possession that possessed Hitler and all of those before him. There's nothing new under the sun. It just comes with new wrapping paper. I mean, Satan has always been trying to destroy the Jewish people from the beginning of time, starting with Cain and Abel. Because, see, Satan possessed Cain thinking that the seed from the woman that would crush his head would come from Abel. It ends up coming from Seth, but nonetheless, Satan possessed Cain to kill Abel. And you can fast forward the clock all the way through history, which is again why I believe there's such a marriage between history and prophecy. You get into the book of Esther, where Haman was trying to exterminate all of the Jews. So God raised up Esther for such a time as this and her uncle Mordecai and thwarted Satan's plan. And then you get to, well, even back to Pharaoh as we're studying in Exodus, trying to eliminate and exterminate all the Hebrew boys. And then after him, Herod, trying to kill all the Jewish boys. And then, of course, the last century with Hitler. And now we just have Ahmadinejad, who is trying to now, vis-a-vis Satan, destroy Israel. Which, in a way, validates that Israel is God's chosen people. I mean, you think about that. Why is it the Jews that have been the most persecuted people on the planet from the beginning of time? Because they're God's chosen people. It's not the Japanese. I mean, no disrespect. It's not the Arabs. There, I'll be an equal opportunity offender. It's not the Arabs. It's not the Chinese. It's not, the Germans. It is the Jews, because they are God's chosen people. And keep in mind, the Messiah has to come from the Jews. See, Satan has been all about trying to thwart Jesus' first coming, and now, since he failed that way, is trying to thwart Jesus' second coming. I don't know how many of you realize, but when Jesus comes back, Israel, the whole house of Israel, gets saved at the end of the tribulation and calls for their Messiah, their true Messiah, to come back. And Satan knows that. By the way, Satan knows the Bible better than you, better than me. I don't mean to, rain on anybody's parade, but it's true. He knows the Bible better than me and you know the Bible. And he knows Bible prophecy better than we do. So he's always had to have the Antichrist, the in place of Christ, ready, kind of on deck at any time, because he doesn't know the day or the hour of the rapture of the church. See, and the Antichrist cannot be revealed until the church is raptured. And again, for those of you who are perhaps here for the first time or maybe the second time, you have to understand that the rapture of the church of Jesus Christ has to take place before the 7-year tribulation. It can't not. A pre-tribulational rapture is scriptural, and don't take my word for it. Be a Berean, search the scriptures and see if it be so. Know not only what you believe, but know why you believe what you believe, so you can give to every man an answer of that hope that lies within you. And believe you me, right now, more than ever, people are looking for answers. Are they not? Men's hearts are failing them for fear. I believe we are at the crossroads of a nation here in the United States of America where the bottom is just going to fall out. And maybe by God's design, in the sense that it will cause us as believers and even cause non-believers to turn to Him. If the economy fails, the government fails, the politicians fail, the system fails, it perhaps can be the catalyst to turn people to Him who never fails. And I wonder if that's not God's way, by God's design, in God's time, of sort of letting us know, you know what, I'm coming soon. And I want you to be ready. And again, I don't know if we have any of the CDs left, but you can go to our website. We did a prophecy teaching last week on the United States in Bible prophecy. Maybe better titled, The Absence of the United States in Bible Prophecy. Because really, virtually absent from the pages of Holy Writ is the United States in the final prophetic program. It's almost like these things must come to pass so that the end will come. See, when I see what's taking place, it's like it was said, when the outlook doesn't look good, and it don't look good, try the uplook. So my prayer, my hope, is that when we see around us the outlook, it will force us to look up and do what Luke 21:28 records, what Jesus said. When you see these things begin to come to pass, look up and lift up your heads and know your redemption draweth nigh. There's nothing that has to be fulfilled before the rapture of the church. It could happen at any time. And we're told that it can happen at an hour when we don't expect it. So I would say to you here today, are you ready? Are you ready? If you're not ready, you need to get ready. If you're not right with God, you need to get right with God. There's no more time. The time is at hand, and this is a matter of life and death for all eternity. And this is why I believe it is that God, in a way, delays. The Lord delays His coming. He's not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. So my prayer for you today, if you don't know Jesus Christ in a saving way, that today would be the day of your salvation.